The VAT raid on private school fees was a total failure. Statistics show that the prepayment of fees from Britain's top private schools went up from 121 million in 2023 to 515 million in 2024. So it's clear that the mega rich had enough cash just to prepay a lot of private school fees. So they avoided paying the VAT entirely. Of course, the burden of the VAT fell onto middle-class families who are not that cash rich. However, some of the money that they used to pay these private school fees and the VAT would have been used to pay for other things such as laptops, TVs, nights out, on which they would have paid VAT anyway. So it would be false for Labour to say that the VAT raid on private school fees raised a certain amount of money, because some of this would have been VAT that you would have got from other expenditure of the middle class. So basically it's swapping the source of where you got the VAT from rather than actually generating more tax revenue, and it increased pressure on councils and increased pressure on the state sector. The VAT raid on private school fees is actually the epitome of the failure of the politics of envy, where policy is blinded by envy and void of economic literacy. To rub insult to injury, due to the VAT raid on private schools, certain people who could no longer afford it, they have taken their children out of private school education. So having failed in generating new VAT revenue, the government has now had to employ another 11,000 teachers in the state sector. However, because you failed to generate fresh tax revenue to pay for these teachers in the state sector, it increases borrowing and increases the UK's national debt. I would have much rather preferred that we placed a higher expectation on private schools in order to achieve their charitable status, open up their fantastic facilities during the school holidays, and have military veterans and young personal trainers struggling to get appointments in those facilities, running sports camps, teaching leadership and teamwork to children from underprivileged backgrounds, and giving children who normally don't have the opportunity to use such fantastic facilities great facilities. Proponents of the VAT raid on private schools say that they're pointing out privilege. Well, they've now made private school even more elitist. Less children have that privilege, whereas with my suggestion, you would have actually given those privileges to a lot more children.